Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai Ba'Shem Kakodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the hopeful elect brothers around the world that's preaching the Lord's word and prophesying in sincerity and truth, and that's uplifting the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. Now, this is Zechariah chapter 11 verse 5. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Yes, and this refers to, or is going into, the so-called white man, which is Esau, the nation of Edom, which is the wicked, that the Bible speaks of, as a nation, they are the wicked, right? When the so-called white man, they had us in, chattel slavery, they had us in chains, and we were in slavery, the so-called black people, and it was really all tribes that was oppressed and in slavery under the so-called white man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're Israelites, and you are being oppressed by the so-called white man, which is Esau, right? It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Yeah, because during the transatlantic slave trade, and the so-called Negro tribes were brought over here to the Americas. We were put in slavery. Put in hardcore slavery. We had to work for free for the so-called white man. We had to build up, this country. And they they were over us. They were our slave masters. They were our rulers. They were our possessors, because we were their possession. We were their slaves, right? Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. So now, the so-called white man, whenever Jake, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whenever you bring up, the atrocities of slavery and what Esau did to, us as a whole, he slaughtered, millions of our people, millions of Negroes, millions of Native Americans, millions of indigenous people to the Americas, which are all Israelites. And he had us, he had us in hardcore slavery, and when we bring it up, it's like, they're like that was a past, to basically forget about it. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. So we were brought and sold, as slaves. We were we were their possession. We were their property. We were things, that they that they bought and sold, on the auctioning block. Like Negroes were brought over here from from West Africa, right? They were put on auctioning blocks, and they were marketed off, and uh, they were bought and sold. You know, it says, and they that sell them say, because we were sold, when we got over here. And another thing is that, you know uh, the the uh, Salaki, the Israelite families, they were separated. You have a man and his wife, a so-called black man and his wife, and their sons and daughters. You know, they would be separated because, the so-called white man would would take their children and sell them to another plantation, right? Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. Right? The, Esau made millions and billions off of our free labor, right? Off of them oppressing us. You know, we made them rich because we had to work for free. They clothed us. They clothed us and they fed us, right. When we were on the plantation, they clothed us, fed us, garbage really, and they kept us alive, for us to work, you know, for us to work in the plantation, for us to build their houses, for us to mine things for them, for us to mine gold and all types of metals and all types of things for them. Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. We Jake, you know, Jake is short for Jacob, which is Israel. Us Israelites, we we uh we built up America, right? We made their economy good. We made them super rich off of our free labor. For I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Now, now the inspiration for this came from came from a video, a short video, I was viewing online, and it says that ten companies, that profit profited from that profited from Salakia, that profited from slave labor, right? And and to my surprise, I didn't know that there are so many companies that profited from slave labor. They got their start during 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 slavery. They got their start during slavery. Now let me go to this. So website, racism.org, right? It's from 2013. Now let me just read a few and get to the example and get to the next scripture. Because like a lot of things, like a lot of like let me rephrase it. The the history of a lot of companies and uh the history of a lot of companies and things like that. Not only that, but the history of a lot of things that we see today, it goes back to slavery. Shocking list of 10 companies that profited from the the that profited from the slave trade. It says it is no secret that slavery rests at the foundation of American capitalism. You know, we Jake Jake uh Jake Jake, you know, you Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know, especially I'm here in America dealing with you so-called Negroes, right? Which are the tribe of Judah. You you built up the economy, you know, with free labor, American capitalism, and is often synonymous with the sugar, tobacco, and or cotton plantations that fueled the southern economy. You know, it established and it fueled the economy because the economy got started. Uh, the economy started to boom. You know, because of the because of because of Jake uh uh working to make working Salakia, working to gather, you know, resources for Esau. It says sugar, tobacco, and their cotton plantations, and that fueled the economy because this is what made them rich. It says and they that sell them, which is the so-called white man, say, "Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich." You know, Esau right now, they are Salakia. Esau right now, they are uh they are set, you know, for at least the rich, you know, the rich and wealthy families of Esau, because you do have poor Edomites, but you know, overall, Esau is doing better than Jake. What many may not know is that slavery also rests at the foundation of many notable corporations, from New York Life to Bank of America. Several companies have benefited from slavery. Many of the companies even acknowledge their involvement in slavery and offered apologies in an attempt to reconcile their tainted history. Is an apology enough? No, it's not enough. And reparations is not enough. Even though Esau will never ever give Jake reparations, it's not gonna happen. But but the reparations, or the recompense, you know, that's found in the book of Joel. The recompense will be them. You know, uh, the recompense will be them themselves. You know, the Lord will uh, destroy uh, destroy Esau destroy Esau and the heathen nations, then remove him from rulership, and then Esau and the heathen nations will be uh, uh, slaves under the, under Yahushai and the elect of Israel. You know, the so-called white man will be slaves under us in the kingdom of heaven, and the heathen nations. So so the reparations will be them. It won't be the money that they're never ever gonna give to Jake. No, no, no. It won't be what they used to say. 10 acres and a mule or something like that they promised to Jake and they never gave Jake. And uh, each time we would start something, you know, and then it would go good. You know, for example, Black Wall Street, or you know, the different companies or industries that Jake would benefit from, that Jake would uh, Jake would start and get rich from. Esau would move in and they would tear it down. They would destroy it. Because Jake was we were brought here, to serve punishment. We weren't brought here to to uh to live a good life, right? The Most High brought us here to serve punishment because we sinned against him. And it says New York life. Now let me get to Joel. Recompense. I want the one in Joel. This is Joel chapter 3 verse 4. It says, "Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head." Yeah, it says, O Tyre and Zidon and all the coasts of Palestine. Tyre and Zidon are Hamites, and the coast of Palestine is dealing with the Arabs because during the transatlantic slave trade, um, the the that the real Africans, the Hamites, that was in Africa, and and the Arabs, the Ishmaelites, they would search out and and uh and and they would Salaki, they would search out and gather jakes and bring them to the so-called white man, right? The the real Africans, which are the Hamites and also the Ishmaelites, they they sold us to the so-called white man. Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your how you doing? Swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. So that recompense, right? A recompense, when you go into it, dealing recompense benefit. It says treatment, an act of good or ill, by implication service or acquittal, benefit deserving that which hath given recompense reward, right? So will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I recompense upon your own head. So there's nothing that they could give, to the Most High for what, they've done to us. For the transatlantic slave trade, right? Dealing with the Hamites, which are the real Africans, and the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs, and the Edomites, Esau, which is so-called white man. They all had hands in uh, destroying us and putting us through Salakia. They all had hands in putting us through slavery, right? And they hate us even to this day. There is not one good so-called white man. There's not one good Edomite, and not no Edomites will be saved when the Lord comes back. No Hamites and no Ishmaelites will be saved. Now there are Israelites that look that look like Salak, let me say that again. There are Israelites that look like the other nations, that may look look like a so-called white man or a so-called Arab or so-called Hamite, and if they're a part of the elect, then 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 they're gonna be delivered. They're gonna be saved when Yahweh shall come back. But besides that, no heathen nation will be saved. That's a weird doctrine that's a weird doctrine that other camps push, and that the Christian church push, that anybody can be saved, which is a lie. Now, let me go into recompense. And recompense ties into reparation, right? Recompense definition: make amends to someone for loss or harm suffered. Compensate, right? So if let's say if if I gave someone, uh if I gave someone, something to borrow, right? Just for example, if I gave someone, you, you know hypothetically speaking, my car to borrow, and they damaged it, or they got into an accident, and that car gets completely destroyed in the accident. Now now what they would give to me will be a recompense. Whether they want to buy a new car, or give me the money to buy a new car, right? That's a compensation, right? For my loss or harm suffered, right? And that would be, the so-called white man right now. The recompense would be them them giving Jake reparations, because reparation and recompense, it ties into each other, because it says down here, compensate or reward given for loss or harm suffered or effort made. And this is the noun. And then down here it says compensation, it says reparation, because it ties into each other. And it's not going to happen, because the recompense or the reparation will be them. You know, we don't want money. We don't want an apology. We want you, because he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, right? This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, right? So the so-called white man led us into captivity. And not only the so-called white man, but the Hamites and the Ishmaelites have a lot to pay for it too, because they were involved in it. And especially Amalek, especially the Ish people. They had a huge hand in the transatlantic slave trade. They had a huge hand in it. They had a lot to do with it. It says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And that's what they did to us. Esau completely murdered, and this dude murdered, this devil, I should say, murdered millions and millions of our people, millions of indigenous people from North Central South America. That's the Northern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom of Israel are you so-called Latinos, Latinos and indigenous people of America, which Native Americans, so-called Mexicans, so-called South Americans, Central Americans, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Dominicans, right? so-called Cubans, you're the Northern Kingdom, and then with the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negro tribes, he murdered millions of us too. So he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So that same thing is going to happen to them. We will do to them what they did to us. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So we have to have patience, and we can't act on impulse because of what they did to us, right? Patience means to suffer, because we have to suffer all this until the Lord comes back. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved, right? So, so the elect will have patience, which is to suffer, and the elect will have a large amount of faith. The elect will have great faith, you know, for the elect will have great faith and endure, you know, until the end. We'll have faith in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And 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 the saints are Israelites. Breaking it down, the saints are Israelites. And now the saints are the elect of Israel, because only the elect will be saved when Yahweh Shai come back. Now let me finish it off. So recompense ties in with reparations, right? Now let me go to this. This is New York Life, a company that benefited from slave labor. Acknowledging our past, New York Life and slavery. Let me just read a few of it. It says, as a 178-year-old company, New York Life's history is interwoven with our nation's history. He's talking about slavery. The enslavement of so-called Negroes, which was done by the so-called white man, including its worst periods. He's talking about slavery. For 2 years between 1846 and 1848, New York Life sold policies on the lives of enslaved people, so-called uh, so-called black people that were enslaved back then, which are Israelites, which are you so-called which are you so-called African Americans today, which you are the tribe of Judah. Our company has publicly acknowledged and is deeply sorry for this period of our history. Right? If you want to go into it, you could look this up. You know, this is NewYorkLife.com, but they acknowledge that this happened. But these companies are mega rich, so this apology don't mean anything. So-called white man is benefiting off of our slave labor, and he hates our guts, and we won't get reparations from him, and the only reparations we'll get is when Yahweh Shai come back, right? Now the last scripture is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness. The righteous man, it's talking about the elect, stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. So the righteous man is is the elect, the prophets, as preaching, on the highways and hedges, in the major cities, major towns, and also, the regular cities. We're standing in great boldness, prophesying against the so-called white man, because the so-called white man afflicted us as a people. And the so-called white man is still oppressing us to this day, right? Before the face of such as have afflicted him. That's Esau, right? The so-called white man. And made no account of his labors. So even all this work that we did to build up America's economy and other countries' economy too, like the UK, Jake, 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 made the UK rich. You know that because of free labor, made no account of his labors. Right now they still say that so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they haven't done anything important in history. We're just slaves. We're lazy. We're we're uh we're niggas and spicks, and our we come from broken homes, which they cause all of this, by the way. But we're uh, bywords and proverbs. They have stereotypes of us, just being animals, right? Made no account of his labors when we built this country up, right? And also, a lot of the inventions actually came from so-called black people. It came from Israelites. So a lot of things that you see around today, a lot of things that you even use, come come from Israelites, are invented from invented by Israelites. Say black inventions, and I'm gonna end it off here. The popular inventions, right? 8 black inventors who made daily life easier. We can go through it. Home security system, invented by Marie Van Britton Brown. Says the 3-light traffic signal, invented by Garrett Morgan. Imagine if you didn't have a Imagine if we didn't have traffic lights. It would be chaos all around the world, and this was invented by Israelite. It wasn't invented by Edomite. I'm just going through it because there's a lot of things that were actually made by us, but it says here, and made no account of his labors. You know, it takes labor to invent something. Which is all inspired by the Most High. The Most High put the spirit in these Israelites to come up with these inventions, right? But but the inventions and the labor and the work still came from Jake. And to this day, it's like, you know, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are just animals. Like they haven't done, anything that benefits society. Automatic elevator door by Alexander Miles in 1887. Electric microphone. And, carbon light bulb filament, invented by Louis Latimer, 1881. And these are all these are all so-called black men, Judites from the tribe of Judah. And that's it. Lord will, this lesson was edifying. The companies that benefit, that profit from slave labor, and that still profit from slave labor to this day, right? And we don't want reparations. The Lord is going to give us our reparations. Will be you. You yourselves will be our possession. You will be the reparation. You will be the recompense. You know. That's the end of the lesson. Lord will is edifying. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemi Ashai Bashim Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.